Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Small Business Show. I'm your host, Swire. My guest today is Oleksii Sekudant. He's the CBDO and co-founder of Fulcrum. They're an outsourcing tech company at Kyiv, Ukraine. And
Hi, Swag.
this is something
Sorry.
that Oleksii wrote me. It's actually very funny. He actually have a lot of experience launching products before, and decided there's no better way to learn and how to launch and operate and meet other entrepreneurs from learning from the mistake. And then Fulcrum actually started from their 15K journey to all the way to extraordinary number in 3 years. So they've been through the pandemic. Now they've been through all. So I'm going to talk to Oleksii more about that. Before that, welcome to the show.
Hi, Swag. Thank you so much for having me.
For listener who might not yet be familiar with your work at Fulcrum, what should they know about you and Fulcrum?
Yeah, so Fulcrum is an agency which is concentrated on creating the tech products. So basically, we're a full cycle software development product. That means that we are trying to have as much responsibility on the product side as possible in order to give some time for the founders in order to concentrate on fundraising, or concentrate on operations, on marketing, on sales, the things which are extremely important in the very beginning of their journey, and to leave for us the development of the product itself, the design, and to leave some, core product responsibilities like helping them to shape out the correct MVP, help them to shape out the how the product should look like in a half year time. And so in extremely short words, that's what we are doing. So taking the burden from the founders on our shoulders, and creating the product which is making a lot of sense, and which will I would say that we are trying to help them to find the product market fit as well. Yeah.
Okay. So I think one thing that is being debated, and as long as I've been in business, it's been talking about, right? For outsourcing versus doing it in-house. As an entrepreneur, we like to micromanage sometimes. We like the control. So we want to keep it in-house. But then as we're growing, or sometimes we don't really have the expertise, we need to look for outsourcing. From your point of view, how would you recommend us to balance it, and when do we actually want to outsource?
Yeah. It really depends on the profile of the company, and I would say the location. First of all, I would say that in locations like US, Western Europe, Israel, it's quite complicated to find the right developers, right designers, because the market is so hot. Because I would say that supply is much less than the demand for the developers, for the designers, for product people, and it's super complicated to build up a team there, as well as it's super complicated for especially non-technical founder to vet the developers, to vet like product people, etc., etc., and especially when you don't have a previous experience of building products. So I would say that when you're a non-tech founder, it's so much easier to go the route of outsourcing, because in other case, it's usually necessary to find yourself a technical co-founder and to go into this long and super complicated process of building your team. I would say that going to someone who already have the setup of the team, who have already processes which have built already, I don't know, like 30 products, 50 products, and the processes which are super polished. It's so much easier to build a product, and the final result is definitely going to be better than doing it yourself.
I like how you explain it. Is this one of the mistakes that you see early stage of startup makes, is they focusing too much on something that could have been built by a team who already know how to do it, so they can actually focus on the idea of how to actually implement the technology. But what do you think, seeing, from client point of view?
Yeah. So especially on the in the early stages, even pre-MVP, so before building your MVP, too many founders are super concentrated on their idea, and they're trying to, I don't know, to explain it. And they're trying to be super picky about some minor details, etc., and thinking that they should have something super polished to go on the market. The most important stuff is to be super fast, super agile, to make everything as simple as possible. So we have had experiences when founders were concentrating on feature set too much. Like, I need this feature, I need this feature. Let's wait for the release and not go public before we have these features in place. That's quite a dangerous route to go, because with each feature, the complexity of the product and the cost of the product is going up and up. And in many cases, nobody even needs this kind of feature set. So basically, you should not jump into the costly software development of a custom product before doing some not even due diligence, but some kind of discovery. So we have a service which is called Discovery. We always do this before going into the software development itself. We create some kind of prototypes. We go to the focus groups, we test it out, we ask them the correct questions which should have been asked before the development itself. There is a cool book on this called Mom Test. So basically, you don't have to go to your mom in order to test out whether your product is good or bad, because she's never going to tell you the truth. So we have this list, and we have the framework on how properly to test out before going into the development, and to make the product as simple as possible, and also to go on the market as fast as possible. So I would say we are concentrating on this go-to-market time extremely, because we know how this is important, and we try to make everything as simple as possible in the first iterations of the product. Afterwards, when we have some initial feedback of real users, we reiterate the app, and sometimes it's super complicated to explain this to founders and to work and to simplify things, because they feel that this product is their baby, and if it's not ideal, it's not good enough for the market. But even to have a landing page and to do some demand generation tests is much more helpful than having another like some cool animation in the app. You don't really need this on the MVP. Yeah. So
I want to bring up another point. I think that's why especially startup founders don't want to outsource, is they feel that if they share the idea, obviously they have to share some proprietary information. It will be stolen, right? Then the baby will be taken away from them. So how would you address that? How do you make them feel secure? You are helping them to achieve their goal, but how would you answer that question?
Yeah, as you know, there is a saying. I don't know if there is such a saying in English, that your idea worth nothing. Go try to sell your idea on the eBay and to see how many people gonna bid in order to buy it from you. Basically, idea worth nothing. The implementation is everything, and even like if you share your idea, I think vice versa. You should go out and scream about your idea in order to have some honest feedback on whether it's good or bad. To have to partner up with some vendor which gonna assess your idea properly and test it out, and to say whether it's good or bad, it's super important. And I would say that you should scream out your idea as much as possible, rather than keep it to yourself, because you would never understand whether someone gonna need this or not.
Yeah, lately I think I read on the news someone is trying to steal the recipe from Coca-Cola. So I'm actually thinking in my head, let's assume that they actually gotten all the
Yeah.
recipe. Are they able to do what Coca-Cola did in Coke? And I don't really think so.
Yeah, we have in Ukraine we have soda which is called cola, not Coca-Cola, but I mean we have obviously we have Coca-Cola, but also we have like some Ukrainian version cola, but nobody buys it because it's not Coca-Cola. No, Coca-Cola is so much bigger than a recipe, so I don't think that if you stole the source code of Uber, uh, it wouldn't change nothing. I mean it's so much more than a code source. Yeah, so I don't see this problem, and I genuinely, in many cases, we have sometimes people not saying their ideas before signing NDA or stuff like that. I understand when we work with some bigger clients, with enterprise, etc. NDA is necessary due to the due diligence process of their lawyers, etc., etc. But uh, when you're a solo founder, yeah, you should scream out your idea.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the idea should be part of it. It shouldn't be all of it. If all your business is around entirely on one idea, then it's not really a good business because I'm sure that a lot of things that we thought of, 10 other people or 1,000 other people are already have that in mind. It's just how you implement it. Just give you an example like pizza, right? You have the secret recipe from your grandma, doing the best pizza, but then like 10,000 other shops are doing pizza. How do you really make that recipe to like the best, the most popular pizza is not the best pizza. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, obviously, and yeah, I agree with you on that. Recipe is not a key. Is not a key. It's how you market it. Is how you sell it. It's how you do I don't know the PR and stuff like that. It's how you go to the market, how you communicate your product to the market, and obviously your product. When your product is good, it helps a lot. But sometimes even not very good products are extremely successful. Yeah, so I don't understand how Zoom is so successful. To be honest, the UI is terrible, the UX is not perfect, and it's sometimes it's laggy, but it's super successful.
Yeah, we can talk on and off of that. But I do wanted to jump to one point. You and I talk off camera for a little bit about remote working. So I'd like to get your take one more time, for getting remote working. You actually prefer in-person working sometime. Why is that and how would you balance that?
Yeah, I prefer working in the office, but it's not a big deal for me not to work from office and work remotely. Even before the pandemic and before the war, we had like a super tolerant mm, policy that you can work from whatever wherever you want. It was never a big deal for us where our employees were working because we have all of the tools in order to assess whether the work is been done good in a good way or in a bad way. So it doesn't matter. The only thing which matters is how good you're at your job, how good you're doing it, and the location, the time when you're working, everything like that was never an issue for us. And we were pretty prepared for the pandemic. I wouldn't say that we've even noticed it to the huge degree because we still were always jumping on the Google Meets calls. Yeah, so each and every hour. Sometimes we were sitting in the office and because and having the meeting on the meets because we have no place, to sit two together. And we were in different rooms. Okay, we would just do the Google Meets in the office, and now we're doing it from our homes or from wherever we were sitting, and. Even now with the war, it's no different. We we work remotely, and yeah, I wouldn't say that remote work had a big influence on the effectiveness of the business. I won't say so. Maybe a little bit. It's so much easier to build some kind of culture and camaraderie in the company when you work together, when you see each other, when you have an opportunity to chit chat. Uh, Before the pandemic, we were not obviously thinking about that. But when the pandemic hit, we've had like a lot of online events, and now even during the war, we have in our company online bar, so people just get together and sip and drink. We have online fitness, so basically everybody who wants can log in into the call, and we have like a trainer who shows some moves, and people are just trying to do the same. As well as we have like online classes, English classes, like on the languages, etc. So we're trying to build an ecosystem where even in an online environment, we still are able to communicate properly, even not only to communicate on the job related stuff, but also just to get to know each other.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point. You know, I work with a lot of company now because they have a bigger remote working team than what they used to. They used to have an office so people can see each other. Now, some workers like to work remotely or want to maintain the lifestyle they created working from home. So they actually resisting to come back to work. Company has been trying to figure out how should we invite them back, and then at the same time you pointed out right, we don't have the team huddle, we don't meet each other face to face. You know, they now hiring people that never see in person before, so how do they build that company culture and loyalty? You know, for people working from home, it's the same if you work for company A and company B. You know, it doesn't matter to them. But then if you're that company, you better want to hold on to your top engineer, your top client. So anywhere that you do, you want to make sure that they're happy. So a lot of things that has to be done. I think there's a whole culture and whole type of product and services that are created after the pandemic to facilitate people who might be uh, managing a remote team.
Yep. And also on top of that, we have like a monthly meeting with all of the team members where we share like how the company is doing, what new things have been implementing during this month, in order for everybody to stay aboard, and to know all of the latest news about the company. And all of these actions, they help to get people together. I guess so. I feel so. I feel that it really helps.
I want to ask you this question because I know that, let me know how many international countries you're dealing with right now. How do you manage that? For me in my work, sometimes I deal with different clients from different culture, different country. So I know that there's always a fine line. What works in your culture, if you say it the same way, you might offend someone. So with a business development standpoint, when you reach out to different clients, do you change the way that you present, or do you try to learn about different cultures so you don't step on anyone's toe? Like how would you research and manage that?
I will say that we research specifically this matter, and I would say that it's a learning curve of mistakes and some successes, because sometimes in Europe people are not so happy about cold emails as in US, I would say, and we can get some pretty bad replies on our cold email campaigns in some countries in Europe where it's like people are not used to this, and they think that it's inappropriate, I would say so. But in personal communication, I believe that with the globalization and the stuff like that, it's obviously there are some things which are different, but things like being honest, I don't know, or being a good person, they're pretty much universal in each and every culture. We have some we adapt our like cold called I don't know, email campaigns or LinkedIn campaigns to each and every country. We adapt our meetings to each and every country, because obviously with the US we can have like a 12 hours difference. So there is a small gap where our teams can work together properly and to communicate. So we just need to collect all of the things we need to ask our clients, and vice versa. And also working a lot of hours really helps to being able to communicate at any time possible. Yeah, but I would say that this is something we have to document. I think this is just a learning curve, and you just need to adapt. And maybe with the huge enterprise company, we will document this. But at this point, it's just a learning curve, and trying to adapt to each and every client.
Okay. So do you have like 10 clocks like above your wall right now so you can, work with different country? How do you manage your time? Because, we're in a different time zone. It's the end of your day. I just started my day. So how do you manage that? And are you like a crazy non-sleep person that is up all the time?
No, not really, because I have some gaps for meetings during the day. I have gaps for interviews. I have gaps. I don't know. We have some recurring internal meetings, so it's not that super. I won't say this is with the Google Calendar. It's super easy right now, and it's super easy to see. And there is some. As you have also a link for HubSpot, in order for me to be able to book a meeting with you, we have just the same things. So Google Calendar helps a lot, because you're just able to see your schedule properly. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. And I wanted to add on one point too, not even beyond culture. I'm dealing with clients that are in different age group. For my senior type manager client, they like email, they like phone call. But if I am dealing with younger executive, they only do text, and they only available after 3 p.m. my time. I'm like, okay. In my CRM system, I actually write down how they like to be contacted. Some when I try to call some of my younger clients, they get kind of offensive. They were offended, like, why are you calling me? Just text me and just email me. Don't ever call me. But then my older client, they actually want me to call them, and they don't respond to email. So I think that for myself is kind of the adjustment, like you said, the learning curve that I have to know, because if I would just go wherever they wanted to meet, just put it at that.
I see. I will say I also don't like when people call me. To be honest, I prefer
See?
texting and scheduling the meeting if necessary. We don't have. I would say that universally, with each and every client, we have like everybody prefer texting. Everybody prefer scheduling meetings from every age group of clients we have. Well, maybe we had one client, but it was from Ukraine, and they're like a huge enterprise company, where we had like a bit a different age group from ours, and the company, the huge enterprise company policies and just the way they work is different. With that clients, we had to go on the phone call and just call them on the phone and ask about some things. Yeah, so.
Phone calls are good.
I mean, it's always easier to discuss and to agree on something on the phone rather than with the text or email.
Well, I think
But
sometimes it's good to clear the point. Sometimes, maybe the way that we type or the way that we text, the information could have been missing. Like going back to your example in remote working, if you could see eye to eye with a person, then you know a lot about the nonverbal languages, right? You can see, they might be saying yes, but their face is meaning no. I wanted to run away right now. There are a lot more that you could tell and then set the tone for the meaning if you actually see that the counterpart in person. Text is okay, it's fast, it's simple, right? And we're all on the phone all the time, so you get fast respond. But then I think whenever that we can, I would like to see, my potential client, my prospect in person.
Yeah, we have a rule that with each potential suspect which reaches us on the website, or like elite or anybody else, we always have to have the first introductory video like meeting. It's not necessary the video meeting, but we have to have a call with them. We have to chit chat about stuff, and because our pre-sale process is so long and it takes a lot of like effort, and it's obviously a little bit costly on our side, we always make sure that that we're able to communicate with our potential client properly. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I like our discussion here. Wanted to dig deeper. We are in a time of uncertainty, especially for you guys in Ukraine. So how do you manage that? By and it seems like that you guys been through the pandemic. You're now being through a wall. You're actually growing your business. So can you share with us a little bit of your success and what have you done in your view that contributed to this success?
Mhm. Yeah, I would say that first of all, always during the some stressful and uncertain times, there is some time gap when you get extremely concentrated and extremely motivated in order to survive, or the similar stuff you do when you're in real situations when you need to survive. So you become much more concentrated and much more motivated. And I would say that during when the war started, everybody were in this kind of shape and form, and also we've been thinking of how this may help to support Ukraine, to support people working in our company, to support, I don't know, relatives, everybody around. So it's a bit of duty or something like that you have, so you're not able to jump from it and do nothing. So everything that I described before, it really helps in order to continue working and continue I don't know like to have a normal, at least normal flow of business. So this helped. The support of our clients helped a lot, because we try to be super transparent on what's going on, what we are doing in order to continue the delivery of the products, and just chat with them as much as possible during this time in order for them to stay calm. And also we found out through the this process of uncertainties that still it's super important to plan out, even if you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It really helps to sit down and think of what can be like in a half a year, and to have some strategy, to have some plan, even if it's gonna change dramatically tomorrow. Still it's not a big deal when you always think of some planning, when you always think about strategy. It really helps, because something is going on, but we still have some kind of plan, we have some kind of goal, and we just need to continue going towards it.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. You mentioned a couple of times, and I wanted to ask you one more question about your time slot. So it sounded like you're a really good person for time management. And then you can actually see a situation, divided the available time that you had, the amount of resources that you have. How often do you rebalance your time slot? Is it a daily thing? Do you look at it weekly? How do you divide all the times that are available to you for work, for fun, and for other things?
I would say that I'm really good at time management. I would say the opposite, but I just try not to stuck the day with the meetings. So you just jump from one to another to another to another. Sometimes it happens, and it's not super productive. I would say that even with our co-founders, we try to create one day without meetings when we think of stuff, when we do actual work and stuff like that. But it never worked because it's not possible to have a day without the meetings, unfortunately. So I would say that it's more situational, and availability is like 24/7.
Okay. Yeah, that's just good to know. I like to ask that question because I get different answers sometimes. There's something that we like to do ourselves every day. So I actually put that as a routine. So that's something I have to do every day. Right. And then these are the available times that I have for business, for actual work that I have to perform for the client. And then, we have free times, right? For people can book us or whatever life comes at us. We could use those times to work on those things. And, you know, don't I think you're a really organized person. Don't say that to yourself.
That would be great. Yeah. If that was true, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay. Oleksii, if listener wanted to reach out to you to learn more about you and your work at Fulcrum, what would be the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, just drop us an email on the website, or LinkedIn, or I don't know, anything which you prefer. Even the messengers would work. Yeah, but the best way is obviously through the website.
Okay. I'll leave the Oleksii's contact information on the show notes. And I know from he just told me in the first initial one, don't call him yet. Text him, email him, but call him later.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Oleksii. I enjoy our conversation today.
Yeah, me as well. Thank you so much, Svara.
Bye.